Welcome to Myrtle Beach Eats and Beyond, the show where a local foodie, that's me, attempts to parlay a passion for delicious eats into a useful video guide for other locals and tourists attempting to answer the age-old question, where should we eat in Myrtle Beach? Don't worry, I've got you covered. With me on this journey are my three progeny, that's them, who also love to experience new eating emporiums, raising them up right. We'll also be exploring fun, family-friendly activities and showing you the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts, the lowdowns and hoedowns of where to shop, play, stop, and stay. If you're lucky, I might even cook for you. And if that's not enough to convince you to subscribe, just know that once a week, I am completely wrecking my diet to bring you this content. Now, I'm not saying that you should feel guilty about that in any way, but I'm just saying you should subscribe. In a previous episode of Myrtle Beach Eats and Beyond, we walked from Fuller Park to the main square in Surfside Beach, and I mentioned that I would be discussing our favorite bakery in a video to be coming forthwith. And here it is. We first discovered Benjamin's Bakery during a casual jaunt through a street festival. We simply walked by, and the several tables full of freshly baked breads, cakes, pies, and cookies, and a few select beverages just called our names. It started innocently enough. It was close to lunchtime after a morning on the playground, and I thought, sure, I'll grab a loaf of bread and a few cookies for us to fuel up for the rest of the day. It'll be a nice treat. The cookies were hefty, chocolatey, and soft-baked, just the way I like them. They really hit the spot on that sunny Saturday. The loaf of rye bread stayed in the bag, preparing for its new role as a crisp, buttery toast alongside scrambled eggs at breakfast. The cheesy bagel rounds would also make their way into a future meal for the children, slathered in cream cheese, covered in shaved steak, and broiled to hot, melty perfection. Not wanting their picnic table lunch to consist of only a cookie under the shady trees of that warm spring day, I cracked open the baguette. Visions of Jesus breaking bread with his disciples danced through my head as I tore off a chunk for each child and placed it into their hands, before finally ripping into a section with my own chompers. And at that moment, that's when I truly saw God. I've had a lot of bread in my lifetime, y'all. I take it sparingly because carbs are bad, but I will never give it up entirely. Jesus is the bread of life after all. Kale is great, but bread is life. I've had bread, fresh, frozen, stale, and spoiled. I've had it basted, tasted, buttered, and oiled. I've had it baked, broken, brewed, and boiled. I've had it toasted, roasted, broasted, and broiled. I've had it in a plane, on a train, on a boat, in a car, at the park, and even after dark. I've even had it in Paris. But I've never had a baguette so soft, so fresh, so chewy and delicious that I can rip off a chunk, eat it without a lick of butter, and die happy knowing I've just eaten the best bread I've ever had in my life. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
Bread. So good.
Mm-hmm.
So good. I love it. That makes me feel better.
And it seems I'm not the only one who feels that way either, because Benjamin's is the kind of place that gets a line going out the door and onto the sidewalk just about every day. My guess is it's the smell that does the advertising for them. The aroma of fresh baked pastries wafts out the back of the building and drifts down the street, beckoning unsuspecting passers-by to come have a taste. The smell may lure you in, but it's the great service, commitment to New York-style bagels, and passion for all things concocted out of flour, fruit, and savories that will have you running back for another bite. While Benjamin's is clearly one of the hottest spots in town for a breakfast sandwich and a morning cup of joe, in my family, children wake up hangry. So we don't usually make it out for breakfast more than 3 or 4 times a year. Luckily, that makes us exempt from the morning lines at Benjamin's. The trouble is, if we don't get to the shop sometime before noon, we might also miss out on fresh baked baguettes. So it's a delicate balancing act. Fortunately, we have another option to satisfy our baguette fixation, at least from May through October. One Tuesday morning, we drove by Benjamin's for a baguette, and we were dismayed to realize that we couldn't even find a parking spot nearby. Then suddenly I remembered with glee that it was Tuesday. Yes, that's correct. I sometimes forget what day of the week it is. But Tuesday is the best day to go looking for Benjamins because it's also Surfside Farmers Market Day just down the street. So we popped down, parked, and scooted by our favorite stall to collect our favorite haul. Just look at all those goodies. Truly a thing of beauty. My favorite thing about these baguettes is the infinite options for consumption. Tear into it fresh like we do, or exercise a little self-control and wait for some fresh butter. By the second day, this fresh-baked, preservative-free goodness starts getting a tiny bit less fresh, but that's when it becomes perfect for toasting. We've made delicious meals out of them on the third and fourth day as well. My littles love fried green tomatoes almost as much as they love Benjamin's baguettes, so naturally, I had to combine them both in a fried green tomato sandwich. After recently introducing them to baked beans, they've actually been requesting them. And what's more delicious than baked beans on toast? Baked beans on Benjamin's baguettes, of course. Another night, I spread a thin layer of hummus onto our remaining baguette half. I heated up some leftover barbecue chicken, then topped it all off with provolone and mozzarella cheese. It was absolutely divine. A quick bake at 375, just long enough to melt the cheese, is also just right to crisp up the edges of this crusty conception. I have had 0 complaints so far.
How come everybody laughs at me?
Because you're cute. Is it good?
This is amazing.
If you live local, or if you're visiting and you're lucky enough to be staying in accommodations nearby, Benjamin's is the perfect spot to walk, grab a cup of house-roasted joe, and have a breakfast sandwich, Danish, muffin, donut, croissant, or bagel.
Gloriously beautiful. Wait, should I show them?
It's kind of like a meatball. Is it good?
It looks like a meatball, but it's delicious. It is just like a meatball. I love both of the things, and I love this.
They offer outdoor sidewalk seating as well as a few tables inside. They also offer a terrific assortment of lunchtime sandwiches and nibblies to nosh, like a grilled Reuben, quarter-pound hot dog on a brioche bun, BLT, turkey club, spinach, feta, and Asiago croissant, or try the French dip, complete with au jus. These are bagel chips.
Bagel chips. That's interesting.
Here, let me get a crunch. Crunch. Nice. And crunch.
Nice.
So this is what you do. You take a sandwich and you dip it here. And then you bite.
Oh my god.
It's good, right?
That is undescribably amazing.
Indescribably delicious.
Got one pretty low. I love that.
Isn't that good?
Emma likes it. You have 2 hands. It's like this mushroom in there.
I don't think so. Isn't that amazing?
I love this.
And don't forget, they have smoothies and fraps. Frappes, milkshake, whatever you want to call them. They're delicious. And remember, you can take Benjamin's home with you no matter how far away home is, with their loaves of artisan bread, house-roasted coffee beans, and bagels available in half dozen and baker's dozen, in addition to singles. Choose from Asiago, blueberry, cheddar, cinnamon raisin, cinnamon sugar, everything bagel, garlic, jalapeno cheddar, onion, plain, poppy, salt, sesame, sunflower 9 grade, and whole wheat. And if you're getting bagels, don't forget to pick up an 8-ounce cream cheese to go, in plain, honey raisin walnut, vegetable, garlic pesto, jalapeno cheddar, onion, and chive. Learn more about their products on their website, benjaminsbakery.com, or just stop by for a snack and see what all the fuss is about.
BP. Apple fritter. This is so good.
Good. So good?
Yeah.
Family owned and operated, they are located at 810 3rd Avenue South in Surfside Beach, South Carolina, 29575. Just don't take too much time getting here. Although Benjamin's is celebrating more than 25 years in delicious service to the community, they wake up early to get all the delicious bakery goodness ready for you by 7 a.m. So that means they close up shop by 3 p.m. every day. Probably at home in bed by 4. Well-deserved rest. Sweet dreams, Benny. We'll see you tomorrow.
Benjamin's bread is so good.
It's so amazing. What do you love most about it?
Well, I love the baguettes. Baguettes, definitely baguettes.
What do you love about the baguette?
Well, it's so sweet and chewy.
And soft.
Yeah, when you dip it in water, it's a little too soft. Don't actually do that.
Okay. Thanks for that primo advice. I will not dip it in water.
Alright, that's the end of the video.
What do you say at the end of a video? To your audience, what do you say?
I don't actually know. Like and subscribe and hit that bell.
There you go. Good job.